Hello, and thank you for watching my video, The God Particle Experiment. And first of all, I want to say that everything that we're going to talk about is based on the information I just released in my new book called God Particle Physics for Dummies. And it can be found at godparticlephysicsfordummies.com or at the website that you see down below, bestaudiblebooks.com. Now, what I'm proposing here today in this video is something that you really, I don't think you'll understand fully unless you are a reader of mine and that you have fully examined the technology that I introduce in God Particle Physics for Dummies. So if you haven't read that book, I strongly recommend that you go get one, get a copy, and maybe get several copies distributed amongst your friends, have some brainstorming sessions, and talk about it amongst yourselves. Give it a review if you like on Amazon. I'm always looking for reviews from my readers. And discuss it wherever you find evidence of the God particle. Make comments on the internet based on your understanding. Google search it. You'll find out that everything I'm telling you is absolutely true and accurate and reflects the latest evidence that scientists have discovered through the auspices of the Large Hadron Collider. That's a good one to Google. The Large Hadron Collider announced that they had discovered the God particle, which had been predicted 50 years ago by a Scottish scientist named Peter Higgs. And so it's also called the Higgs boson. So if you Google the Higgs boson and the God particle, you'll find that they're one and the same. And you're going to find a lot of controversy about why it's called the God particle. The scientists don't like that term because it implies that God created the God particle, and of course he did, or she did. Whatever. God doesn't have any sex, of course, but God did create the God particle, and I proved that in another video of mine. You can see it in the same channel, and it goes back to the evolution of the universe. And so there's a lot of information that you may not fully comprehend at this point in time. So I really welcome you to look at my other videos, Google the God particle and the Higgs boson, form your own conclusions, and realize that that the evidence does take a little bit of interpretation, but not much, to come to the conclusion that I've come to, that the God particle is the most influential and powerful force in the universe. It can be thought of as almost exactly what George Lucas calls the Force in his Star Wars movies. But he says in the movie, if you play it back, you'll see that George Lucas didn't have it exactly right. He said the Force is created by all living things and surrounds us all, and has an impact on the universe, words to that effect. But created by all living things is the inaccurate part of the Star Wars interpretation of the Force. The Force of this nature, of course, cannot be created by life. Life is created by the Force. But you can't, he was accurate in his depiction of the fact that you can use the Force. Now, not with laser swords, of course. And you can't make things like fly all over the room and come to you when you need them. That was, of course, science fiction. But in my book, I show you that there is technology that allows anyone to use the Force that was created by God and does surround all living things. So, and it's part of all living things. It's also part of all non-living things. It's part of everything. And it pervades our universe. It creates it. The God particle actually creates the universe. As the universe expands, the God particle field precedes it and creates space-time into which we are evolving and we are expanding. Our universe expands and creates space-time as it expands, and that's all done by the God particle. Look it up. You'll see I'm not making this up. None of it. So when we discovered this, it's like discovering the E=mc² equation that Einstein gave us. In fact, I alter his equation a little bit. just a tiny bit, to show you that the power of the God particle is infinitely greater than the power of the uranium atom that we use and the plutonium atom that we use for atomic bombs and what's called hydrogen bombs. The God particle actually gives mass to those uranium elements that we use to blow things up. And that brings me to the nature of this video. I just gave you a little bit of a introductory quick course on the God particle, and again, you really should read God Particle Physics for Dummies, the first book that I've published. There's more coming, and then you'll be able to appreciate what I'm telling you right now, and that is that we can and we must use the power of the God particle to alter the path we're taking as a civilization. And by that I mean there's a lot of things wrong with our civilization. If you don't think so, then turn off this video and go away, because you won't understand anything else. If you don't understand that humanity is on the verge of a very serious possible extinction even. It happened to the dinosaurs, don't laugh. And dinosaurs, of course, were around for about 200 million years before they became extinct. As humans, the current form of humanity, Homo sapiens, that you and I are, has only been on this earth less than 1 million years, about 400,000 years. A tiny little slice of time compared to how long the dinosaurs ruled the earth. We're now the top of the food chain. There are no more dinosaurs. But we've become so intelligent that we have the possibility of destroying ourselves and the whole planet along with us, which is unacceptable. It's obviously in something we can't even tolerate. And we must divert the ship of the Titanic that's headed towards this iceberg of sinking, and we got to alter the course just a little bit so that we don't sink and take everyone on board with the ship going down to the bottom of the ocean. That's the point of this video. We are at what I call a God particle moment, and you especially are at a God particle moment, because you're going to get some information right now that gives you the chance to participate in the solution or continue being part of the problem, which is apathy and doing nothing about it. If you really value the earth, the future generations of humanity, your children, your children's children, and your grandchildren's grandchildren, and so forth down to all future generations of humanity, then you have to stop and do something to preserve humanity for those future generations. That's what this is all about, and this is why I call it, this video, the God particle experiment. I believe that we can use the power of the God particle now, and since I completed that book, I decided to really put the theory to test. And to test the theory of how powerful this force is and whether or not we can actually use it to alter our own destiny, our own personal destiny, as well as the destiny of civilization as a whole, I'm calling on you, my viewers, to participate in what could someday be regarded as the greatest experiment ever. What I would like you to do is, on the first of every month, devote 2 or 3 minutes at most thinking about how we must stop the proliferation of nuclear weapons all over this planet. So I like this experiment because it puts the God particle in its place and takes my theory that it is the strongest force in the universe and shows that in a very practical way, in that if we can prevent the nuclear holocaust that is coming, with all these countries that are expanding their nuclear arsenals, it's just a matter of time before someone throws one at us or we throw one at them, and then it can escalate into World War III with the hundreds of thousands of nuclear warheads that are out there, each one capable of destroying an entire city. It would send up a dust cloud that would last for 1,000 years, blot out the sun, and it's called a nuclear winter, and destroy all life on the planet, because nothing would be able to grow, so we would run out of food very fast. There could be a few survivors, somehow down in a bunker where they're preparing for decades, and there are people that are doing this, by the way. But that would be the end of civilization as we know it, certainly, and I can't accept that as a possible future world that I want to hand to my children, and I hope you agree to that. So I'm asking that you go along with me on this experiment and try to reverse our current path in the future. That's almost 99.999% certain to be extremely disastrous, if not the end of everything. And the way we do that is we put the energy of the God particle to use, and we concentrate on methods and systems of helping other countries disarm, and then eventually even the United States, Russia, China, Europe, every other nation that has a nuclear weapon, and they're all dissipated, turned into, you can take one nuclear bomb and take the fissile material out of there, the uranium and the plutonium or whatever it is that they're using in that particular bomb, and then convert it very quickly, very easily, very cheaply to be burned in a nuclear power plant, generating electricity for hundreds and hundreds of years and for thousands, tens of thousands of homes from one nuclear warhead. So it's actually insane that we keep all of this energy pent up in the unthinkable, unusable, unacceptable event that we may need him to destroy ourselves. It's just total insanity. But here's the good news. I believe that the God particle has the power to change all of this and to actually destroy all of that negative energy in every single nuclear weapon and save our future and the future of this planet. But I can't do it alone. My brain only generates a couple of micro millivolts of electricity. Yours generates also about the same. So it's going to take millions of us using this in unison, in unity with each other, to actually change and alter reality. We can do it because the God particle is part of everything. So as we take control of this energy and this force, we can actually influence the others who are not yet aware of our work. And this is the experiment, to see how far we can go by using the God particle technology. Again, it's in my book in great detail about how you do it, but I'm going to give you one brief example because it's that easy. You can do it after you listen to me for another 30 seconds. You can be part of the experiment. And again, there's a lot at stake. So here's what you do. On the first of every month, more frequently if you want to, but at least one day of every month on the first, so that we're all doing it at the same time. And I think just after you wake up in the morning is the best time, because your brain is free and you've had a lot of stress resolved by the mind during sleep. Sleep is the most wonderful thing. It gets us awake and refreshed and looking at the world in a completely new perspective. And you're open to the God particle energy, I think, more than any other time of day. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, your first thought upon waking up on the first of every month, until someone tells you you no longer have to do it, you'll know. You'll know that day. But until that glorious day, for the rest of your life, think about the God particle and how powerful it is, even though you're only one individual. Because the power will come from the uniting of our minds on this incredible technology. And the way to do it, whether you read my book or not, is just to use this mantra. Say to yourself, out loud or to yourself, the following, because I've found this to be extremely effective in uniting my brain cells to open up to the God particle field, and then I actually can see into the future, and I can actually alter my destiny because I've invented this technology and I know it works. But now I want you all to see that it works, and this is how we're going to prove that it works. by actually saving humanity. A lot at stake. So I know some of you are laughing. Some of you think I'm crazy. I don't care. I know I'm not. I know I'm onto something, and I know you will agree once you get busy with this, because you're going to see your own life taking completely new directions, much better ones. Because that's the whole point of the God particle. It creates reality millisecond by millisecond, and as you alter it and find out more about it, you actually participate in your future in a completely hands-on way rather than just allowing the random effects of events to control your destiny, control your life. So this is the mantra I'd like you to concentrate on. Again, the first day of every month, no matter when that is, right upon awakening, your mind is clear. If it's not clear, try and clear it of every other thought, and say to yourself these words: God is watching, watching is God. God is listening, listening is God. God is touching, touching is God. God is here, here is God. That's it. It's a very simple phrase, very simple mantra. You will realize the power this unleashes after just your first attempt. This is not rocket science. It's not difficult. It's extremely simple. If you forgot the phrase, play this back and write it down. Or get my book. It's in the book, along with a lot of other details about why this will work and why we must employ this force right now in our history. So that's it. That's the God particle experiment. It's extremely simple. Anyone can do it. Rich, poor, white, black, purple, green, tall, short, fat, skinny. Doesn't matter who you are, old or young. If you focus the energy of your brain on the energy of the God particle, you can achieve anything you want. And what I want to achieve with it, besides improving your own lives, is to improve the chances of the survival of our species, because I love humanity. I love the experiences I've had on this planet, every single one. And I give thanks to God every single day for the blessings that He bestows on me every minute of every day. The good and the bad and the ugly, it doesn't matter to me. And I promise you that if you start to tune in a little bit, just a tiny bit, as I've asked you to do, the mantra takes less than a minute to repeat to yourself. And I'm only talking about one day a month. You can do it more often if you like. And if you do, you're going to find even bigger results faster. But if we all can agree on doing it one day a month, on the first of the month, so that the impact is the greatest into the God particle field, then we can save the planet. In case you haven't been watching the news lately, there are a lot more countries that are starting to get nuclear weapons, and some of them are extremely dangerous in how they think about the world and us. They're almost suicidal. They are suicidal, in my opinion. And so this is like living next to a terrorist who has, it's exactly like living next to a terrorist who has a nuclear weapon in their garage. Now, if you don't know about that, there's nothing you can do about it. But we know about our neighbors who are terrorists and they possess nuclear weapons, or they soon will. And there are ways to get them to give this up. Peaceful ways, loving ways. Ways of the God particle and of the fate of the universe that the God particle controls. We have to get in tune with that now, and we have to use that force for good and to eliminate that power for evil, or else all is lost. I strongly believe that. I firmly believe that. And I don't want to leave the planet in that condition. Somehow we got here. I don't think it does any good to place blame at this point, but we are here, and there has to be a way out, and the God particle is it. If you ever wanted to learn about how, where, why, when God is all about, you have an opportunity to learn about that now. And not some mumbo-jumbo storytelling that's been going on for hundreds of years, but actually from scientific proven evidence about how God works. There are miracles, and you can participate in them, and this is going to be the biggest one that we've ever had. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. Thank you for listening. I hope you can comprehend what I'm talking about. And I hope if you don't understand what I'm talking about that you'll get yourself a copy of my book. It's dirt cheap compared to the consequences and how much that would cost. It's dirt cheap compared to the alternative universe of not knowing about this technology, believe me. And we all have to get on this technology and start using it. It's bigger than the iPad. It's bigger than your iPhone. It's bigger than the internet. In fact, it controls all of those things, plus a lot more. I invite you to participate in the God Particle Experiment, ongoing now. Tell everyone you know. Spread the word. And this can be done. After this, we can use it on a million other problems that we have, by the way. But this, to me, is the biggest one that has to be solved first. Then the others after this one, because none of the others have this kind of import attached to them, or urgency. And there's a lot of them. One at a time. One at a time. May the force of the God particle field be with you always. God bless you, and thank you for listening.